Hello everybody, I am Row 2501 and so this particular video is just going to be about Destiny and some of the new features that came out because um, last week the first expansion for Destiny 2 came out. It's called Curse of Osiris, and it added a whole bunch of new stuff to the game. And like I said, this video is just going to be a bit about some of those new things that it added, and I'll walk around the area, the new planet that it added as well. So first things first, I guess, the thing that most people would be, I guess, concerned about, or, had the mind to check out, would be how does this expansion compare to the first expansion that was available for the Destiny 1? So way back when the first Destiny had launched, like a lot of the complaints that people had for it were, the Destiny 1 was very short on content as compared to, what they had said, I guess, was going to be out. And the first expansion for the first Destiny was very, very small, very, very limited on content, and it made lots and lots of people upset, me included, because I remember playing it and I was done with everything that expansion had to offer within, just a day's playthrough, which was, not good at all, obviously. Plus, the price that they had charged for it and everything, it was bad all around. So in Destiny 2, with that expansion, a lot of people were kind of waiting to see if they had done the same thing. And having played it for a week and gone through all the bits that it has, I can fully say that no, this expansion is nothing like the first expansion for Destiny 1. It is times better. There's way more to do. There's way more depth in the content, and, like the Destiny 2 launch, it looks outstanding. Personally, I've had a ton of fun with it, especially with the campaign levels or the story levels that came with it. There's a good 2 or 3 of those levels that are just outstandingly fun to do. Both the level and the boss at the end. Like I was surprised, like, because normally, I mean, you don't normally have as much fun with a story campaign level as you do with like a strike or doing player versus player stuff, but very pleasantly surprised. Like 3 of those levels, staggeringly fun, and I would play them over and over again, which I have actually. But that aside, so the new expansion, Destiny 2, is awesome. It's worth what they're charging, and it's just overall, it's definitely worth it. If you like Destiny, or if you have been liking Destiny, it's worth it. There's 3 new strikes, there's a whole new planet, and there's about, I want to say 9 new story levels, so to speak, or actually no, there's story levels with another 4 additional things to do, which are kind of like repeats of those same levels, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, let's see here. So one of the new things that they added was to give additional boost to the player customizations. Like, as you can see, my really pretty red and gold Titan here, that was one of them. The expansion, or the customization that you could do for your character. You could add all kinds of shaders, which are just color palettes to each individual piece of armor. And I went with this really cool gold red theme from one of the other factions that give you that. But in this one of the things that they added for customization was these things down here where it says armor ornaments. These are the things that they've added to the expansion that give you even more customization options for your character. And pretty much what they do is just they change a piece of your armor so that it can be colored differently. So, like, say for instance, the legs that I'm wearing on my current character, when it loads, they go from being the gold that it was to just these, these leg plates here are different, and then everything else stays the same. But this is a preview of what it would look like if you had just put the legs on by themselves without coloring them. And every ornament piece is like that. You can preview them, what they look like just normally, and then you can, once you buy them, you can preview what they look like with the colors and whatnot. But basically what it changed in this one as compared to the ones that I am wearing, these shoulder plates here are different. Mine are really rounded off and have spikes. These are very squared and whatnot. But they look outstanding either way. I wouldn't use that color shader on them, but hey. Here's a chest piece. And it adds this color piece. This bit right here is different from the current chest piece. And the back piece is different as well. So it does add, it can change quite a bit for your armor piece depending on your class and whatnot. I've seen them be completely different, and then I've seen them just change one little bit. Personally, I like them. I really like them. This one adds an antenna, and the back piece is different. A new piece on the front. I like them personally. I know some people aren't into customization, and some are really, really into it. Personally, when Destiny 2 started, I was never really too much into the whole customization thing or the shaders and whatnot. But as I played it, the more I played it, the more shaders I found that I really liked and made my character just look awesome. So I got into it in Destiny 2. And with those ornaments, same thing. I'm super duper into them. Something I did forget to point out is those ornament things. Those, as far as I know, can only be got certain vendors and whatnot. Like this guy is the vendor for the Vanguard, which means if you play strikes and whatnot, which are the Destiny dungeons, you get these tokens, you turn the tokens into this guy, and you get armor specifically for this Vanguard. He's got these ornaments here, and each one has a requirement, so you don't really turn in stuff for them. You have to do something for them. Like for instance, this one, I've already got it. Here's one. So it says challenge is completed. Inside every strike, when you go to them, if you hit a button, it'll show you like a challenge you can do, which is like while you're in a fire team, kill 100 characters or kill 100 enemies using this particular type of gun or this particular type of element, or defeat 25 bosses, or turn in or claim 5 rewards was one of them, and the reward would be this thing here. Once you turned in enough tokens, you get this reward token, which you have to turn in 20 to get one reward. So you turn in 100 tokens, you get 5 rewards, and that's what got me this right here, I believe. Another one was kill 1,000 enemies inside of strikes, which got me this ornament here. So I've already got the legs, and I've already got the little sash thing that the guy can wear. What's left that I have to do is I have to complete the challenges within strikes. There's usually 3 of them, so I think it's 3 per day that you can do. I honestly have to go back and look, because I never used to do them up until now, which is, going to get me ornaments. Milestones completed, meaning, let's see. The map will load.
The next threat will come soon.
So if I hit the left trigger, it shows up here milestones. What that was referring to is when I complete so many of these milestones here, then that ornament will become available to me.
Good, you're back.
And the last one was strikes completed overall. So it just wants me to complete 25 strikes overall, and I'll be able to get that helmet.
Back to the front, Guardian. The next threat will come soon.
And this vendor over here, which is basically like the customization vendor. And then this is also where you can pay real money to get in-game currency to buy the stuff that this character has. But nothing this character has will sell you anything that will be like a player advantage towards, being better than other characters. All this stuff is cosmetic and ornamental. That's it. They have these color ones. These things help you gain more, get more rewards when completing public events, strikes, and player versus player stuff. And everybody can get these. You don't need to pay real money to get the currency to buy these. You can just get them normally throughout running around in the game. But this character can also sell some of the ornaments. But as you can see, it's got, a ghost, an armor piece, which I've already got, the emotes, which are the dancing around things you can do, ships of kinds, and then just these are just skins for guns. But this character can also do the ornament thing.
Thank you for shopping at Eververse.
Other than that little bit, like the various vendors having the ornaments, like the player versus player guy, he's got ornaments. The other vendors, where you do item turn-ins and stuff like that, they have their ornaments as well. One of the big changes that they did was this gunsmith character over here. They changed the way you turn in things and you buy things, which was desperately needed as compared to when it launched. So the main thing that's different with this character is before all you could do was get a random gun mod or a random armor mod. And that was kind of expensive, and no matter, even if you disassembled a certain kind of mod and then you went and came here and got a random one, it could still give you a random mod even if what you just disassembled was the exact same thing. And that was the horrendous thing that was wrong with it. Now, on a 24-hour basis, this guy changes what he sells. And what he sells now is 1 specific weapon mod and 2 armor mods. So you don't have to really worry about the whole randomness of, these right here. If you just wait a day, if he's not selling what you want, just wait a day and see if he's selling it again. It's a bit more expensive compared to the random one, but this is totally worth it. I've improved one of my characters at least by using just this guy's, buy exactly what you want kind of thing. The system before was very broken and very uncool, and it took forever even just to get one little thing. Now you can just, like I said, wait 24 hours, see what he's selling, and hopefully he's got what you want. It shouldn't take that long for him to cycle around to what you want. But other than that, that's all that's changed. You just you still turn in the tokens and get the rewards from him like before, but now you can specifically buy certain weapon or armor mods depending on what he's selling for that day. I'm glad they fixed that, because that was one of the things that was wrong with the Destiny launch, or one of the biggest complaints was that guy and his system. I can happily say that one of the other things that was changed from the initial launch was the fact that the loot system has changed. Thank God it has changed. But when I say that, what I mean is when you turn in something, or when you go to decode an item, they're called engrams. It's that purple thing that I turned in way at the beginning. But you get various engrams throughout running around in the game that you turn into a specific character called Rahul, who is the engram vendor. When you go to him, you have him decode your item, and then you get something from it. What used to happen before was, you could turn in 3 items or 3 engrams, and you could get the same 3 items from the guy back to back to back. I've seen that happen. It's happened to me a ton of times. I've seen it happen in the game chat where it tells like what other people are getting from their engrams. And I've seen it time and time again where you go to the guy, you turn in something, and he'll give you exactly what your first engram was. And that used to super irritate me. And thankfully, since this particular expansion launch, I haven't really seen it do that. It will give items, but it won't give them to me like on the same turn in. Like if I turn in 3 items, I'll get 3 different things. They may be things I already have, but since its expansion launch, and they've raised the cap, I guess you could say. They've raised the cap for your armor, for your items, for your character itself, and for your level. Anything that I have been getting from the guy, I've been able to use just by making something else stronger. Which leads me to the next point of, with the expansion comes increased level caps. And when I say increased level cap, I mean with your character, with the Destiny launch or Destiny 2 launch, the character you could level up to level 20 just by running around doing quests or doing the player versus player or doing the dungeons. You could gain experience and get to level 20. With the expansion came a 5 level increase. So now I'm at level 25. The other thing that it did was increase this number right here, which is power. And this, as it says, power and defense across my gear. Power improves both my damage output and my defense. So this power number is what everybody was leveling in the Destiny launch. You could get it up to I believe it was 315 or 320. Those were the two numbers everyone was shooting for. With the raise in with the raise in cap for everything, you can get it 330 or 335, which might not seem like a big jump in number, but trust me, it takes a long time to get this power or light level up all the way, and you do it by raising the light level of all your equipment. So that's actually pretty high. I got lucky with that one. Also got lucky with that one. But this is what the norm for everything is. It's around 310, 312-ish. So once you get to this light level on your equipment, it might take a little bit longer for you to level it up to 315, 320, and so on and so on. Usually you're depending on higher level drops from quests, or maybe even like drops from enemies and things like that. But most of the things you'll get here, and that's just a ghost. So this is my special equipment or my exotic equipment. Some of it, like this one, is leveled higher, but most of it's still at the regular level. So I've still got some work to do on this particular character, but this is what he looks like now with some of the new stuff. Like if I wanted to do an ornament for this particular character, I can. Oh, that one doesn't have it. Which one does? I think it's this one. And those ornaments are also specific to the piece of armor that you're wearing. So if, for instance, these legs, see how they're all silver and gold? If I put the ornament on it, it changes the leg plates overall, the overall look. And I think that's super awesome, to be honest. It doesn't cost anything if you want to apply them. So for instance, if I wanted to just put them on, I could. And then you can go and change and see what colors you can get on it. So here's one color preview. It just changed the back. Let's see, this color preview, change the back again. This one added a bit to the bottom parts here. But it looks like most of the color changes that are going to happen for this particular ornament, if I do change them, are going to be geared more towards the back. Oh, that one changed. Yep, the back. More on the upper, but still more towards the back. So if I were to use these leg plates, I would basically, I would change it so that I'd have to change a lot of my other armor pieces so that I could match the color, because like with any good customization, you want to match and not look silly. Yeah. Put color back on there. But see how he's all mismatched? I wouldn't run around like that. Yeah, there's my normal ones. So that's what the ornaments can do. They can change one piece to look completely different, or it can just change a little bit. All the changes that I've seen that those ornaments can do, they're all amazing, and I kind of want them all. So I got a lot of work to do to get them. But that aside, this is the new area. It's called, it's a new planet actually. It's called Mercury, and you know, closest to the sun type of thing. There it is. It's really bright. Although we're not burning to death because we're all robots and wearing armor and stuff. It's the new like safe zone, I guess you could say, or where you turn in things. This guy's pretty crazy. He's very, 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 very devout towards the character Osiris. But what this guy's holding is these things here. These lost prophecies. So, and this has actually been a tiny bit of confusion with Destiny 2, is how to get these and how to turn them in. So what you have to do is, the very first thing you have to do is you have to complete the quest, the normal story quest chain, which is just the, you know, the first 6 or so quests. Once you complete them, this guy will give you another set of things to do, which are just, you can redo those adventures or quests that you completed. And then it gives you the option to do it as a heroic quest or adventure. which basically just turns the difficulty way up for any one particular quest or adventure. You have to do everything that he gives you, and he gives you 4 additional things to do after you complete the quest chain. Once you complete those 4 things, he then gives you what you need so you can start all this stuff. And basically, what you need to do is you get a specific item from doing dungeons and quests, these right here. Concentrated Ragalan Culture. You have to turn in one of these things to get the reward from a Lost Prophecy. But you have to have started and completed a Lost Prophecy before you can even turn these in. So these options down here for your character won't pop up until you've done his first 4 required adventures and things. And what you do is you just come and you get them, and you complete them, and as you do, these heroic versions will become available for you to do. These blue ones you can repeat as week. These purple heroic ones you can only do once. So if you complete all 3 of these in a given week, you won't be able to do them anymore after that. These blue ones you can do as many times as you want. You can get stuff from them, like these tokens to turn in for his regular reward turn-ins, which he does as well. But to do the Lost Prophecies, and the reason you want to do these is because there's like a special set of armor and weapons that you can get from turning these things in and completing Lost Prophecies. It took me a bit to play through the game, and I even had to go look it up, which is not something I want to do. I usually like to just figure it out through the game itself. But I actually had to go check, and I checked 3 or 4 different sites to make sure they were all consistently the same. And they did, thankfully, all consistently say the same thing. To get the special or the certain kind of gear, the special gear, let's just call it that, you do actually have to complete these adventures and these heroics to get these items right here to turn in. And I've gotten one. I completed one just before doing the video. I did get one of the weapons, which is this right here. This weapon right here came specifically from turning in a Lost Prophecy. You can get this particular item in, just through drops and other things like that. But mine it came standard with a certain power, which is way stronger than the norm. So you do want to do these because, you can get an item that is similar to a drop item, but the difference is the strength in which you get it. So doing the Lost Prophecies and turning in the items are worth it, especially when you need to still level your character or an item. Personally, this submachine gun, I haven't used it yet. I'll try it out. I do use submachine guns for player versus player on one of my characters. I just haven't figured out if this is one that I want to use compared to the other 2, because my other 2 are really... one of them is really powerful. It's an exotic, and the other one is just the standard legendary type. But I've been using them for so long. I'm comfortable with them. I know what they can do, all that stuff. But that's basically. Hopefully, it will clear up a little bit of confusion with the new items and how you can attain them. Basically, you come to this guy, you do his adventures and his heroic. He'll give you the Lost Prophecy. The Lost Prophecy will then in turn allow you to collect the item needed to turn it in. And each character has a different item that they need to get. But once you do get them, you come here. And when you have the required turn in, this thing will light up and let you use it. So hopefully that clears up a tiny bit. And everyone's been looking for him. So it's this guy right here. Again, you do have to complete the story quest chain. And then you have to complete his additional 4 quests to even start unlocking the ability to get those items. The quest chain, his 4 items, you can then start what is called the Lost Prophecy, which again just allows you to gather a certain item so you can use it and then turn it in. Who aren't very into the player versus environment or PvE or player versus story type stuff, they might not like it or struggle with it or whatever, but hey, it's for someone like me who loves that stuff, it's basically extended the game and given me more to do, which I like. This Destiny 2 is definitely becoming more and more MMO-like than ever before, which I am just super excited for. The last thing we'll go over real quick is just the new area, or the new planet Mercury. That's where we are now. It's not, honestly, it's not super big, but there's a ton to do. So this little area right here, this encompasses most of the main area where you run around. You pick up the adventures and stuff. See, look, here's a heroic one to do. Here's the normal one. The reason I can do a heroic one already is because I've already been through and completed the stuff. But anyway, there's a lost sector over here. There's chests and stuff all over the place, but this is the main area. I know it doesn't look big, but it actually is kind of big to run around in. These other areas you can get to by teleporting or jumping to, and all the adventures take place inside of one area, which is over here. So on Mercury, the two enemies that are here are Cabal, which are these big kind of war type people, and then the Vex robots. Those are the only things that are here so far. If you go in one direction, you fight a bunch of Vex enemies, which are right here, these guys. I'm going to run around them for now. If I were to go to the other direction, I'd fight more Cabal type enemies. So I guess it's pick your poison and move forward. And if you're just running through, it doesn't take very long to get to the other side. And here's the other side. There's an adventure I could pick up. And that centerpiece right there is for one of the public events that takes place in this area, which is super duper fun in my opinion. There's a whole lot of stuff you have to do to get it to progress forward, to, you know, be able to even hit the guy. It is very fun in my opinion. I love it. It's the only public event that I've seen so far. So, you know, they will add them, I'm guessing, as it goes along with, you know, surface area of the planet. But I digress. This right here, this portal, is where you go to do the story quests and where you go to do adventures and heroic adventures. This area is called the Infinite Forest, and this is basically the whole rest of the area for Mercury. When you do quests and stuff, you jump in here and you do this kind of random generated level thing that keeps popping up. Eventually you'll get the same thing, but still, the whole rest of what takes place in Mercury is through here. And I might do another video that shows one or two of those areas, but I haven't decided yet. I guess the one last thing just to talk about real quick is because the expansion came in, of course it added more strikes or dungeons to Destiny 2. It added 3, and those 3 strikes, I've played them all already. They're, in my opinion, they are very, very fun and super awesome to do. I had 2 buddies of mine who hadn't seen them before, and they were just, they couldn't keep their astonishment to themselves. They were quite pleased and happy with what happened throughout the strike. They were just outstandingly fun. Now, the one thing that people might have complained about or are complaining about is the 3 strikes, the 3 things that are strikes or dungeons inside of this expansion. They're actually 3 of the levels that are inside of the story campaign for Curse of Osiris. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, well, they're just recycling new. But in my opinion, I'm kind of glad that they did do the recycling for those 3, because the 3 strikes or dungeons are the 3 most fun levels that are in the story campaign. Like as I had said earlier, I had a lot of fun with that story campaign. Well, 3 of the levels stand out as being just spectacular things that you want to do over and over again. And what they did was they converted those 3 into strikes. Now, much harder than when you do them in the story level, of course. There's more enemies, things like that. The bosses are harder, but still just outstanding fun. Turning them into strikes is one of the better things they could have done, in my opinion. I love it. The fact that they put those in there, like I said, my friends, they were astonished, surprised, and they had a ton of fun with them. And they themselves, they want to do them more too. So that's just my opinion, of course. But there is like a, proof of other people who like them the way that they are. But again, hopefully this little bit kind of clears up some things and showed you some of the new stuff. I'll do a few more videos on Destiny 2, the player versus player stuff. Some of the stuff that might be wrong with the expansion or that didn't get fixed from the launch. and we'll maybe go through some strikes. Other than that, hopefully you enjoyed this bit. If you do have any questions or need more in-depth explanation about a certain one thing or another, please let me know. Be happy to answer anything to the best of my knowledge. Again, happy hunting, happy ornament gathering, and happy level gaining. Again, I am Row 2501. Hopefully you found this enjoyable and informative. Take it easy.